But I just want to make this abundantly clear. This is not about any one person. This is not about any of us. This is about the one who hung on the cross.
That's right.
And that's the only thing that matters. So it's kind of funny because a couple months ago, I was like, you know what? If anyone ever asked me to come up here and talk, would I do it? And say, yeah, sure. Why not? And then not a week or two later, Nick's like, hey, you want to preach? I'm like, I'll teach. I don't know about preaching. But so we're here. And thank y'all all for coming. But I'd like to, Marty, would you open us up in prayer before we get started?
Father, what a blessing it is to be in this house today. Father, my heart is overwhelmed by what we have witnessed in our young people. Father, my prayer is that we will see a revival across this land. May the young people who are starving for the truth, may they see Jesus Christ. May they be the ones that proclaim it and testify to it. And Lord, I would just pray this morning that you would be with Will. I thank you for this young man and watching him over the years and how, Lord, you have continued to work in his life and the life of his family. And Lord, I just pray that you participate, Lord, in him this morning. May he be a participant with you as you use him as a vessel to pour out the word into us this morning, that you might be glorified in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I think the stage is 20 degrees hotter than the seats down there.
It is.
But so we're going to do things slightly different today. Instead of y'all sitting comfortable in your seats, we're going to get uncomfortable today. So I know listening to Marty, it kind of gets, you can doze off at times, sometimes. I've seen some of y'all. I'm just saying. I get one Sunday, so they won't ask me to speak again, so we're going to get it all in. But I'm going to ask for some feedback and response for you. It'll be a little more intimate, more discussion-based. If you don't participate, Nick's going to have you singing. Think of your purpose. So why are you here? We're going to revisit this question later, but think of why are you here? Why are you on this earth? What has God put you in specific here to do? And like I said, we're going to get you out of your comfort zones today. So let's break this mundane cycle of sitting and listening and just going throughout every day, normal. I don't have a time limit, so it may be 20 minutes, it may be an hour and 20, as long as we get to Mexican before the First Baptists do. We're good. Sorry, like I said, I got to get it all in today. So who believes God has a purpose in your life?
Amen.
Raise your hand. Awesome. So we're going to dive right in. Luke 15, 11 through 32. And this story may be familiar to some of y'all. Luke 15, 11 through 32. So as we look at the story of the prodigal son, can y'all give me, just shout out one word of what comes to your mind when you think of this story of the prodigal son? Grace. One word. Grace. Mercy. Love. Unconditional love. Generation Z, yes. I argue it's every generation. Yes. Redemption. Rebellion, yes. Forgiveness, exactly. Unconditional forgiveness and love. So we can never out-sin God's forgiveness for us. So let's dive in. Verse 11, Jesus continued, "There is a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, 'Father, give me my share of the estate.' So he divided his property between them." So in other words, he wanted his inheritance a little early. So not long after that, the younger son got together all that he had and set off for a distant country and then squandered his wealth in the wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out, a citizen of that country, who sent him to the fields to feed pigs. So who would want that job? Go and feed the pigs. But it was so bad that he longed for the pods that even the pigs were eating. Like, this dude was bad off. It's like if you were given $1 million right now. You think, man, that's awesome. But in reality, we get this wealth, and it's like, we're going to go squander it. We're going to go spend it. And then before you know it, we have nothing. Because all the wealth, that's all temporary, because we need our spiritual fulfillment as well. As we continue on, when he came to his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long ways off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son and threw his arms around him and kissed him. He didn't even have to apologize. He didn't say, 'Father, I sinned against you.' His father already knew. He saw it. He saw him coming. He knew what had happened. But it's that unconditional love and forgiveness where we don't have to say a thing. We don't have to do a thing. All we have to do is just turn back to Jesus, and then everything we've ever done is forgiven. So the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against you in heaven.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead, and now he is alive again. He was lost and is found.' So they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came to the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called out the servants and asked them what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with them, but he answered, 'Father, look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never even given me a young goat so that I could celebrate with my friends. But when the son of yours who has squandered your property and prostitutes come home, you kill the fattened calf for him.' 'My son,' the father said, 'you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead, and now he is alive again. He was lost, and now he is found.'" So I take this as we have personal prodigals and we have generational prodigals. We each have our personal struggles that we deal with. We have things that lead us astray from God. We have, whether that's jobs, careers, relationships, any of these things that lead us astray. But then we also have generational prodigals too. In every generation, it's not just the younger generation who has drifted. It's every generation that we've ever had has always been strayed from God. So we have these two things here. And it's really relevant in America especially. So a quick story about the Bahama trip. I'm not sure if these guys already touched on it the last couple of weeks. But when we got down there, the thing I was most shocked about was the culture. They were so receptive. Everyone knew about Jesus. Not necessarily everyone believed in him, but everyone knew about Jesus. They were all happy. They were all, joyful, out talking, and there was no bickering. There was no talk of politics. There was no. It was just amazing to see the shift from our American culture to this Bohemian culture, where it's like joy and love was their culture. Versus here, the country is, in shambles almost. Like it's sad to see us drifting down this path of evil and darkness. So that was just cool about their culture, and know that it is possible to get where we are a culture of Christ again, where we can make that revival, where we can have that revolution that leads us back to Christ and put it in our schools, put it in our government, put it in every aspect of our life. So that was really neat about the Bahamas there. But our culture here has bred contentment, pride, selfishness, pettiness, victimization. Our purpose, according to the world, is what? So what are some things that the world says our purpose are? Get rich. Yes. Some other purposes. Powerful. Yes. Success. Yep. Fame. Yes. So these are all things that the world says we should pursue. Let's pursue these selfish interests. Y'all will have to excuse me. I'm not the best orator by no means, but we'll make it through. So yeah, our purpose is to look out for me. Get a good education, get a safe job, work 40 years, grumble at young kids, trends, politics, easier at Thanksgiving when the family gets together and then it all comes out, so. But we like to get comfy. We like to get content. We like to have safe and stable lives. But Christianity isn't safe. It's not stable. It's not in a box that you can take out when you want and when it fits you best. It's none of these things. So we've lost this sense of urgency to share Christ. So when you Google a state of happiness or a state of content, you have satisfaction and happiness, which being happy with the Lord, in the Lord, joy in the Lord is awesome, is great. Being content where you are and satisfied where God has you is also good. But contentment can also lead to comfort, which ultimately leads to inaction. And this is the issue, is this inaction. So back to the question, what is your purpose here on life? What has God put you in specific here for?
Share the gospel.
Share the gospel, yep.
Relationship with Him.
Relationships with Him, yep. What are some other purposes you in specific have? Be an example. Exactly. Yep. Anyone else? Lead. Love. Yes. So these are all examples of why we are here. We are here to combat these purposes that the world provides for us. We are here to combat those status quos that the world has placed upon us. So would you do anything for God? Two of you? Good. Good. This is a lively crowd, Marty. I see. So who would do anything for God? Anything at all? Okay. Have you? Have you gone out and shared? Have you been an example? Have you led? Have you loved? Have you shown love? Do we all fall short of this? Yes. But all we can do is strive for it. So if he came in here and told you to sell your house, move to Canada, move to the Bahamas, start an orphanage, sell all that you have, would you? Are you sure? Some of you? Well, the reality is he has told us to do all these things. He has told us to give away our possessions. He says to, disown ourselves and make ourselves a servant to his. And throughout this word, throughout this Bible, he has gone through and shown us and told us all these things to go and to love and to lead and to be an example. We don't need him here, sitting here, telling you what to do. He has told us through this. We just choose not to listen sometimes. So I think one Sunday when it's warm, not when it's 20 degrees, the entire church needs to walk out just down the streets, through these houses, and just go door to door. Just share and start that spark here in Blairsville. So how many would be up for that? 10 or 15? Okay, we're going to work on that. So to bring this mission to the people of Blairsville. So what is holding some of you back? This is where it gets uncomfortable here. This is the exciting part. So who do I call on? So what is holding us back from going out here and sharing? This crowd. Fear? Judgment? Yes. Okay, how about y'all? Rejection. Yes. Yep. So what else is holding us back? Why are we being so content? Pride. Yes. Comfortableness. Yes. What's that? Well, God bless them. Yeah. Feeling ineffective. Yes, that is a big one. So, rejections. How about y'all? What's holding you back from doing this? It doesn't have to be door to door here. It can be at your workplace. It can be at the school. It can be at the senior living center, Lynn. You know, get good practice before you're there. But, sorry. It can be anywhere that you want it to be. It can be anywhere you are. We are called to be present. We are not called to be perfect. We are called to be present and to share where we are. Amen. So it is this cultural mentality of fear, rejection, pride that is keeping us in this box and keeping us from having that revival and that revolution. Because we can. My generation, they're searching for truth. They're searching for something to fulfill them. A lot of them found it in alcohol, found it in relationships. They found it in all these other things that, are temporarily fulfilling, but are not, they have no lasting impact. They have no home at the end. We are searching for a truth, and we have people to go out and start this ministry, to start this, sharing of the gospel wherever we're at. But we're so content in our little box and comfortable in our little box that we completely nope, I'm not going to do it. Just going to not talk to Marty. Just walk on by. He didn't ask me to do this. When I was asked to preach, I was like, oh, dear goodness, no. But once again, I had told God, I was like, you know what? I would do it if the opportunity ever arose. So this is uncomfortable. I don't like this. I don't like looking at all y'all. I like looking at Marty. Not because y'all aren't beautiful or anything, but no, it's, so we get caught up in this box. So Mark 14 and 15. Later, Jesus appeared to the 11 as they were eating. He rebuked them for their lack of faith and their stubborn refusal to believe those who had seen him risen. He said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation." All. That's not conditional. That's not to, just the ones who look like they need it. That's to everyone. That's to the Jehovah's Witnesses. That's to those on the side of the street. That's to the waiter and the waitress at the restaurant. That's to those atheists. That's to everybody. It says all, without condition, all. Go into the world and preach the gospel to all creation. So we haven't seen God. He's not sitting right here, in front of us telling us what to do. So we don't seem to have that sense of urgency because he's not a physical being, so to speak. If Marty was to come up and say, "Hey, I need you to go to that door, knock on that door, share a verse with them, pray with them," it would be like, okay. It would be a lot easier that versus saying, "Well, yeah, the Bible says to go and do this, but I'm busy or I don't feel like it or I'm kind of scared of rejection or I don't know what's going to happen." We have that aminos. Yes, that word. Yeah, your mouth gets really dry with this. It does. Where was I? Yes. So if he walked through those doors and told you to do that, we'd be like, yes, absolutely. But since he's not necessarily doing that, we're like, well, maybe he won't know. Maybe God won't know if I don't follow what's laid on my heart. Oh, thank you. What's laid on my heart. Maybe it's okay if I don't share with that person. They look fine. Who am I to go and teach, to preach, to share? I'm a nobody. And that's that mindset that we have. And that's what prevents us from sharing as much as we could and from starting that revolution. And just imagine if we all did that. If every single one of you in here was to go out and do that today. What kind of difference would that make? Would we see in the community? If we went out and did that every single day, like God has taught told us to do. But since he's not sitting here, it's like, well, maybe I can get away without. So that's that mindset that we have lost. We're living two different lives right now. We have, where we're at in America, we are so well off. You're sitting in an air-conditioned building, comfy-ish seats. Maybe the paint color is not what you like it, but who cares? So we have the opportunity to care about these little things. So many people, especially those living in poverty, they don't have the opportunity to care. We don't have to worry about where our next milk comes from. We don't have to worry about what's going to happen. We don't have to worry about people running in here and, disbanding the church or persecution. We don't have to worry about that. So we have that opportunity to care about the little things that get in our way. We have the opportunity to be like, well, I'm not good enough, or I'm busy today, or I've got a meeting, or we have the opportunity to care, which is the issue. Because so many others don't have that opportunity. So when they receive something little, it just, for them, is huge. If I was to come up and give you a couple dollars, then what would that be? How would you feel with that? I just said, here's a couple dollars. Yeah, yeah. It's nothing big. If I gave you $1, what is it? If I gave you a smile, it's not money, but a smile. You're a smiler, and that's awesome. But these little things, they don't mean as much to us as it does to other people. And that's the issue we're having. So I wanted to do this, maybe without burning the church down here. We get a new building, so it'll be okay. Maybe. Should have practiced this. There we go. So that candle, that is our life. That is a representation of each and everyone's life on this earth. It's so little, it's so short, it's so precious, and it goes so fast. That's our life. I don't know what the average is, 76 years. And it goes off like that. So we look at James 4:14. Why? Do you not even know what will happen tomorrow? What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. This life here is so temporary. It's that short. In the grand scheme of things, we are nothing but a mist. If I was to drop dead, the world wouldn't miss me. The world would be like, keeps on going. And that's what happens every day. Is in reality, death awaits us all, unless Christ raptures the church. Death awaits every one of us. And when you get to be, sorry, Lynn, I'm going to keep picking on you. I told you I wouldn't, but you're easy to point out. So. But when we get to Lynn's age, and we're like, oh no, I'm sorry. Sorry. I could use Marty. I pick on Marty a lot, so I'm trying to give you the day off. So when we get to Lynn's age, and we start to look back, do you look back on your younger life? Do you think, man, look at all the, can't remember. Well, yeah. Well, let's say you did remember. So when you look back and you think of all your life, would you change anything?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Would you change anything? Yes. Would you change anything? Mm-hmm. How about you? How about you? Would anyone not change anything? Much? Awesome. Awesome. Well, let me know because I want to be like you. But no, I get what you're saying. Because God has us here for a purpose. He's got a plan for everything. And everything that happens in our lives, good or bad, serves a purpose. So many of us, I'm not going to say so many of us, we haven't been through everything the same, but some of us go through things earlier in our lives that put us in a position now to reach others that someone like I cannot. Like if you went to prison, if you were a drug addict, if you were an alcoholic, all these things, you went through this for a purpose. because I cannot reach the same person. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know what a lot of you guys have been through. I don't know that. But we've been here for a purpose so that we can reach others going through the same things as you did. So yes, I would change a lot of things in my life. I've missed so many opportunities to share when I know I should have. When you feel that calling, when you feel that presence of being like, you know what, I need to share with that person, but I got school, I gotta go fish, I gotta get on the lake. Yeah, I don't have time for that. And those are the little moments that we miss so many blessings in. And that's what I would love to take back, are those moments. So just remember that our life is so short. It is so little here on this earth. We are nothing but a mist that's here temporarily. We're all going to die. That's just a fact of life. That's one, you often hear two things are guaranteed: taxes and death. And that is very true. So just know, don't miss those little opportunities to share. If it's just a smile, if it's a word, just don't have those regrets when you get to Lynn's age and look back and think, man, look at the opportunity I could have made. Look at the impact. What did I miss? And that's my biggest fear, is looking back when, man, if I had just gone to that door, if I had just gone to, wherever it is, if I had just started this ministry, if I had just done this, look where my life could have been. So that's what I want to encourage you is recognize and take those little opportunities. So John 15:16. John 15:16. Someone read that for me. John 15:16. It's not up on your screen, so you got to use your little fingers and roll through the papers. It's on the back half of the Bible. John 15:16. What does that say?
Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. And whatsoever ye shall ask the Father in my name, he may give it to you.
Thank you. Yes. We did not choose Jesus. We did not come and choose him. He chose us. He chose us to go to the cross for. He chose us to be his people. He chose us. We didn't have we would never have chosen God. We would never have chosen Christianity. We would have never have chosen this, but he came to us. He knocked on your heart and came to you. Even if it was at the lowest point in your life, he came to you. He meets us where you are at. We don't have to go on some journey. We don't have to go out of this building. You don't have to get out of your seat. He comes to you. All we have to do is just lay apart all of our pride, all of our selfishness, all of these things, and accept him and just let him help and let him in. He chose you and appointed you. So this is where he gives us a job. He gives us a purpose here. He appoints you that you should go and bear fruit. That doesn't say sit in your seats and don't talk. That doesn't say stay in your home, don't share Christ. That doesn't say to get comfortable and to think, oh, the missionaries got it. Or you know what, the guys from the Bahamas, they're good. They covered my missionary work for the year. I'll support them. That doesn't say to stay where you're at. It says to go and bear fruit, that your fruit should abide. And here's the conditional part. Ready? So that whatever you ask, in my name, he may give it to you. That doesn't mean take out the rest and say, whatever you ask the Father, he will be done for you. It says, so that whatever you ask. So that doesn't mean that when you sit back and you don't follow his will, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to bless you as much. That doesn't necessarily mean, you're going to receive those same feelings and blessings as if you would have gone and bear fruit and gone and shared. So here's where we're missing. We think, you know what? If we just sit where we're at, we're going to receive our blessings. We're going to receive these opportunities. We're going to receive these things. No. It says we have to go and actively seek. It doesn't mean sit where you're at. So when Jesus chose the disciples, he did not choose the ones that would sit back and do nothing. They worked, they shared, they led missions, they left everything to follow him. I don't know if Jesus came to me on the lake, I'm sitting out there fishing, and like he did with his disciples, and I had just got this massive catch. I mean, Justin just caught the biggest trout in my life that I'd ever seen. If I had just done that, and he said, you know what, drop it, leave it behind, follow me, I would be a little hesitant. Yeah, it's like, well, you know, God, I just had this awesome thing happen. I just caught all these fish. I just achieved this. I just got to this point in my career. I just got this. You know, I feel so good. And now he's telling me to let it all go and follow him. Would you do it? It's hard. It's hard. He never said it would be easy. That takes sacrifice from ourselves. So, in the same way, I have to be careful here because I want people to show up next week for you. In the same way, the church does not need content and lukewarm members. The church does not need seat warmers. The church doesn't need people to sit here and just take it in and to listen and then go to their house and forget about it. You know, the church doesn't need people to show up on Wednesdays and Sundays only. It doesn't need people to sit in the back row here and just take it in and then go eat Mexican and be good and happy with their day. You know, the church needs members who are active, who are seeking, who are sharing Christ in every single walk of our life.
Amen.
The church does not need these lukewarm members that we have gotten so comfortable and accustomed to having. So Justin and I were joking on the way back from the Bahamas about a sign-up sheet for members. So if you did not participate in any ministries, then, you know, you didn't have to come to church. So it was like, man, if we made this mandatory where like everyone had to do something, had to agree to, you know, stay after church and clean the bathrooms or do that, I think that should be mandatory. I think it would. Yeah. But no, that would be, we shouldn't need those rules to let us help God. We should be wanting to do that. We should be desiring to help out and to do everything that we can. That should be our desire and our want and our passion is Christ. So the church needs action. Action leads to revolutions. If we go out and share, a lot of y'all saw that new movie, The Jesus Revolution. And that was an awesome depiction of not only then, but even of today. We may not see the hippies out on the streets, but I promise you, there's people in the schools, in the colleges, in young adults who are seeking just the same, who are wanting that truth. And so we can see that same revolution if we get out of these seats and take it outside these doors and take it to these people. You know, that would be incredible to see because they are searching and yearning for that truth. And the next generation is going to do the same thing, and the next and the next. So we have to constantly be able to fulfill that gap and to share Christ and give these people what they need, and that is Jesus. So we talked about some things that hold you back from this. They're common to everyone. They're common to me. They're common to Marty. They're common to Lynn. They're common to Dad. They're common to everybody. You know, these things, these feelings of pride and fear of rejection, these things are what Satan loves. There's these things that Satan plants. It's not going to be obvious. He's not going to, send, I won't say he won't set fire to your house, but I'm saying he doesn't make it obvious. It's these little things that keep us from sharing. It's not obvious. We have to look inside ourselves and think like, man, what is holding me back? What is causing me to not go out and share? And those are things that we have to self-reflect on and to see. Mine is a lack of courage. Mine's the same thing. It's the fear of rejection. I don't know the words to say. I don't know how they're going to react. And Adrian, I didn't ask you to do this, or I didn't let you know before, but if you would share that little story of being present when you were sharing, yes. Sorry. I think this is an awesome story about how we have to be present. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to know the words to say. We don't have to know any of these things. All we need is to be there.
Okay. Hi. Okay. So when I was a senior in high school, I felt God tell me, you need to talk to Jason. And I immediately was terrified because Jason Gossett was the strongest, smartest atheist I knew. And so I was scared to death. So for 2 weeks, I came home from school and I cried until dinner in front of my mirror, just talking to God. What am I supposed to say? I'm like Moses, I stutter. I can't talk right. I don't know the answers. I know he's going to say all these smart things, and I'm going to be like, I love Jesus, I don't have words. And so one day, I'm like, okay, just do it. 2 weeks later, I'm like, just do it. So I'm walking through to my lab class where Jason Gossett was creating his chainmail, which is armor, but he's that kind of guy. And I had my Bible in I'm shaking now thinking about it. I was holding my Bible and I walked over to Jason and just terrified. I'm like, Jason, can I talk to you? And he's nice. He was smart and nice, and he knew exactly what it was. And he looked at me and he was just like, yes, Adrian. And he put down his tools and his metal and he's like, yes, go ahead. And I was like, can I tell you about my Jesus? And he's smiling and he's like, yes. And as soon as I said it, I felt this hand on my shoulder. And I turn and I look, and it's Justin Kelly, the smartest Christian guy I've ever known. And he's looking at me and smiling, and he looks at Jason, and he's like, blah, 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 blah. And the whole convo was like blahs after that. But I was just needed to open the door. Justin didn't have the guts to open the door. So God used me to open the door, and Justin was just there doing his smart Christian stuff. Yeah, that was my thing.
And see, that is the perfect example of being present and not perfect. We don't have to know the words to say. We don't have to know exactly how it's going to go. It's okay to have that fear. It's okay to have that anxiety. But we have to just open that door and let God work. Because he will work in ways that we don't understand and that we don't know and we don't see. So thank you for that, Adrian. Sorry I didn't let you know beforehand, but... So we have become so accustomed to the material and social slavery that the world and culture has us in that we don't see the chains anymore. We don't recognize the things that hold us back. We don't reflect on them. We don't think, how can I self-improve here? How can I change this? How can I let these things not chain me down? And how do I share? So we're going to jump to this real quick. We're going to jump to Matthew 28, verses 16 through 20. Matthew 28, 16 through 20. So this is the Great Commission. This is our purpose. This is each and every one's purpose in our life, is this great commission, as God calls it. It says, then the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshiped him. But some doubted. Some doubted that he was Jesus. Then Jesus came to them. He met them where they were at, came to them and said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of every nation. Go make disciples of all nations, not just America, not just the Bahamas, not just where we're at, all. There's that word again, all nations. Baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the end of the age. There's that word, always, all, go, all creation, all people, everything. That's all encompassing. That doesn't mean when you feel like it. That doesn't mean when it's convenient. That means in every single part of your life to share and to go. So do not let contentment lead to inaction. Where I see a couple of y'all are still dozing off, so we're halfway through it. We'll get you out by 1 o'clock or so. But so do not let contentment and comfortableness lead to this inaction. Get uncomfortable. So one thing I wanted to do before you start, sorry, this is also on the cusp, but what can you do today? What can you do as soon as you leave this building to share? What can you do? I'm going to ask some of you what you can do today, because I'm going to hold you to it. I'm going to hold you to sharing Christ. I'm going to hold you to it. And this isn't me encroaching on you. This is, if you feel anything, it's God. It's not me, I promise. So what are some things you can do today, right outside these doors, to share Christ, to shed a little light, to be that spark? Bracelets, yes, I love it. I had to take mine off because I fidget with it.
Checking out at Home Depot or at Ingles.
Yes.
Or at Feed the Hungry, and it is amazing the response you get.
Yes, it is. Those are the greatest opening of door thingies ever. Yes. I love those. Pray for the waiter and waitress. Who will do that today? Who will go when they eat and pray? 3. Okay, come on. Raise your hands. Who will go and pray with their waiter when they get to the restaurant today? That's a few more. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, I'm going to hold you to it. What else can we do? Share a testimony with someone today. Yes, this is today. What can you do to spread the gospel today? Love and compassion. Be an example to people. Whether you're at Home Depot, whether you're at the restaurant, wherever you are at. Encourage. Yes, share a smile. Share encouraging words. Share uplifting.
Say God bless you.
Yes, say God bless you.
Pass out a gospel tract.
Yes, pass out gospel tracts. Same thing as the bracelets. Those are great tools to open the Word of God, to open that door. So who's going to do these things today? Come on, 10 of you. We didn't go through this whole thing. Hands up. Everyone's hands up. Everyone. I don't see everyone. We're going to hold them here until everyone does it. Come on. Come on. There we go. Good, good. So every single one of you today, and God is the witness, you said that you would go out and share. Just saying. So you don't have to come to me and say you did. Go to God. He saw you raise your hand. He did. So today, it doesn't matter if you don't go anywhere. Send a text to somebody. Say, hey, God's got this. He's got you. You know, it's going to be good. You know, don't let this comfortable lifestyle keep you from these blessings God has for you. So each morning is a new horizon. Each morning is a new day to do this, to share, to go, and to be that witness, and to have that purpose, what God has called us to do. You know, life is so short. We're nothing but a mist. You know, what we do, we may not see the impacts today, but I promise you they are there. We don't have to do much. God doesn't say explicitly to go across the nation, to go across the world, to sell your house, Patrick, and go to Africa. You know, he didn't, not that I know, he didn't tell you to do that. If he did, you better go. I'm just saying. So he just says to share where you are at, you know, in these seats, in the car, at the restaurant, wherever you are at, to share and to go and do this every single day. Because each day, more and more people are yearning for this fulfillment. They're yearning for this Christ, to this fulfillment that only Christ can give. You know, the alcohol, the relationships, all these things, they don't fill them. You know, as we saw in that movie, they don't fill people. They feel good temporarily, but they're never going to get you anywhere. We're so caught up in the pettiness and of these little things that keep us down every single day. We're caught up in what I look like. Oh, he's got jeans on today. Why does the pastor have jeans? Why do you have jeans on? You're supposed to have a suit. You know, we let these little things, oh, your hair is messed up. Why is your hair messed up? You know, I was going to wear shorts and a T-shirt with either Lonnie or Jesus on it, but they wouldn't let me. So, you know, we let these little things keep us from sharing and keep us from recognizing the needs in our community. So make it count. Make your life count. Make each and every moment count, because you never know when it'll be puffed out. We don't know. You know, it may be this evening. It may be the next moment. It may be tomorrow, next week, next year. We don't know. You know, and that's the joy of it, because we don't have to worry about it. You know, we know that, hey, no matter what happens, that God's got this, that he's there, that he will take care of every one of us. You know, so do not let these little things keep you down and keep your attention turned away from Christ. Because I know that even within this room, we have the resources, we have the people, we have the will and the want to create that spark, to create that revolution, to create that fulfillment that only Christ can do. We can do it right here in Blairsville. We can do it right outside these doors. Blairsville can be that hotbed of Christianity. We can make it that missionary house to go and to spread from. I know we can. Just whether or not you want to, or whether you care, or whether you have that passion, have that want and that drive to share Christ with everybody. So I just wanted to encourage y'all today to just try and make an impact. Just try and let's turn this culture around like the prodigal son. Let's turn it around and go back to Christ. Go back to the Father. Go back to hope and peace and love and all these things, and not so much and not let the devil win. Because that's basically all it is. Either Jesus is going to win or the devil's going to win. No in between, you know. So go out and make a difference in one life today. One life today. Then that turns to 2. And 2 turns to 4. 4 turns to 8. And that spreads. And that's the whole point of Christianity. That's the whole point of us being here. This is why you have breath. This is why you are alive right now, is for the glory of God, and to spread his love and his word. I think I want to use this moment just to, like I said, life is so short. I want to stress it that you have 2 options in life. You either choose to accept God or deny God. There's no being lukewarm. There's no being in the middle. And there's no being unsure. You're either all in or you're all out. So if anyone is out right now, I want you in the in. You know, everyone here wants you in the in. We all want to be all in for Christ. So if you feel that on your heart, if you feel that presence, just let it in. Just open that door in your heart. You know, you don't have to get up. You don't have to get up here and scream and shout and beg for forgiveness at the cross. You know, you don't have to do that. He will meet you where you are at. Just open that door in your heart and let him in.